We covered a handful of Remnant 2's most ridiculously fun guns, and your response was absolutely amazing. So this is to let you know that we hear you. If you thought those 5 guns were awesome, just wait for what we have in store today. We've saved the best. Coinciding with its buff in the recent patch, I had to open this list with the exceptionally unique mob destroyer APHELION. Like something out of a sci-fi nightmare, APHELION is styled around handling an alien life form more so than a gun, with orange eyes adorning the barrel, ominously darting around, and hands freakishly fondling what can only be described as a singularity. Perhaps as unique as its appearance, this gun's primary fire launches a penetrating horizontal energy beam ready to decapitate hordes of enemies. Be aware though, the slow speed of the beam combined with clipping issues in the environment can limit its usefulness. But really, that's not what this gun is about. Those of you who are grey and wizened like myself and remember the classic Unreal Tournament shock rifle will absolutely love this gun's unique mod. Supernova fires the compressed remains of a dying star, which on contact explodes in a massive shockwave, dealing fire damage to targets within 4 meters. But here's the catch. If you hit the singularity with your primary fire as it's traveling, it will supercharge the Nova, completely obliterating mobs. Combine this with an AoE boost and you have a recipe for absolute hilarity. Just watch out, because it's really easy to get caught in the blast, and it's kind of powerful. You get APHELION by defeating the world boss Shah Hulud in the Seeker's Rest Shard of Nehrud. You have to use the override spike to get this variant of the boss, which only involves, destroying their entire universe. Once you make your narrow escape, McCabe will craft it for you. More of a novelty weapon than something you would run day to day, APHELION can be a hilarious way to make your way through dungeons full of ads. How about something actually useful though? If you enjoyed the unique mechanics of APHELION, you're absolutely going to love the unique playstyle of this gun. The DECEIT is as ornate and decorative as the flamboyant boss it's created from. Firing dual penetrating rails, it reads like something you would find at the local adult shop. It is, nonetheless, the most powerful long gun in the game. But it comes with a catch. This gun can't actually hit weak points. So then what is the point, you might ask? Well, its extremely unique mod surrounds you with 3 spectral swords. When you do a melee attack, it will launch one of these swords towards your foe, turning their entire body into a giant weak spot for a few seconds. You can then dual penetrate them into submission to your heart's content. You get DECEIT by defeating Fei Lin, the quote-unquote good world boss in the Shard of Le Somme, which begins at the palace, then getting McCabe to craft it for you. What? Despite being the strongest paper DPS long gun in the game, it's nowhere near as satisfying to use as our next gun is. Oh, if you're enjoying this list so far, please consider joining us as a subscriber. We're approaching our goal of 1K after only a week of existing and would love to have you on board for the many future videos we have planned. While you wouldn't exactly call our next gun exotic, it is my absolute favorite sidearm in the entire game. It will let you absolutely melt through the higher difficulties with ease. The MP60 is actually the first hidden gun you can get in the entire game, and it can single-handedly get you through your first world. Combined with a mod like Overflow and a mutator like Extender, it peppers enemies with so many bullets per second that you'd swear you're watching an old gangster flick with someone getting totally seasoned by a bunch of Tommy guns. Using this gun is unbelievably satisfying. It also has absolutely crazy DPS with the right build. You find the MP60 in a shipping container in Ward 13 after getting the key in Ford's chest by inputting the code found on the bottom of your flashlight immediately after the tutorial ends. You can also take this chance to look through the window at one of the other hidden guns we may feature in part 3 of this series, so let me know if that's something you'd like to see. While the MP60 is unbelievably satisfying, it's nowhere near as unique as the next gun, and that's because it's not actually a gun. Without a doubt, one of the most beautiful weapons in the game, the Crescent MOONBOW is as dreamlike and enigmatic as the character whose dream you snatch it out of. Yes, you heard right. Getting this bow is a bit of a mission. Its ethereal appearance belies its function because it is one of the highest damage weapons in the game, having been used recently to solo the game's end boss in Apocalypse difficulty in just over a minute. This is in large part facilitated by its amazing mod. Moonlight Barrage allows for basic shots to count as charged shots, and for charged shots to instead fire 2 arrows at a time, letting you utterly annihilate enemies while also drawing both ammo and health out of them while increasing your fire rate to boot. Really great for builds that don't have much intrinsic lifesteal. You get this very singular weapon by using the Dream Catcher on a sleeping Namue in order to extract the Namue's Dream consumable, which you can then use to send yourself into her dream realm, collect the crafting material, and take it back to McCabe to get yourself the Crescent Moon. I did warn you the process was a little involved. By the way, I hope you like DPS, because our last gun brings it like no other. Except that, well, it's even less of a gun than the bow was, because it's a sword. But bear with me, because it's a hell of a sword. It single-handedly sold me on melee builds. This extremely chunky boy is the Stonebreaker. Think of it as a really OP version of the broadsword you find in the Queen's Prison, that also happens to have a ranged element. See, the charged attack launches ground-based shockwaves ahead of you, completely pulverizing mobs. With the right build, this thing melts through dungeons and elites alike. On my first test attempt, I virtually one-shotted one of the super tanky Royal Guards with it. Yes, it was only Nightmare mode, but it's still kind of insane because these guys have a ton of HP and no weak points. It only got more ludicrous from there as I melted my way through Yeisha's elites, the Phase elites, and pretty much everything I came across. Because I'm new to melee builds, managing stamina was quite a task, but I have no doubt this could easily be overcome with some good build crafting. Running around in heavy armor, swinging this comically oversized anime sword made me feel like I was playing Monster Hunter again. Except instead of insanely spongy dinosaurs, I was melting everything around me like mildly annoying jelly. There was something unbelievably special about ragdolling a bunch of Victorian-era elves in the Forsaken Quarter, looking like a ridiculous protagonist out of a JRPG. Strongly recommended. You get the Stonebreaker by defeating the Corruptor boss, but unlike the Twisted Arbalist, you get this reward by not taking down the Golem during the battle. This is the much suckier way of doing the battle, but I believe in you. And there we are, 5 more of my favorite weapons in Remnant 2. Let me know your experiences when you get a chance to try them out, and if there are any of your favorites I missed out on. Until next time.